Good evening and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight is Aguna, the voice of reason, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker, and my cousin Todd. We have a full show for you tonight. Hamas says top leaders survived the strike by Israel on Qatar, while 5 lower-ranking members were killed. Stephen, in NASCAR, it's playoff season. We'll see what he has to say about that. A Michigan judge dismisses charges against Republicans accused of acting as fake electors for Trump in 2020. Tennis and the U.S. Open with cousin Todd. He'll talk about the winners for the women and the winners for the men. U.S. job growth through March was revised, and it was lower than thought by 911,000 jobs. That's almost 1 million jobs. The NFL's Dak Prescott's of the Cowgirls started the spitting war, but what he did is not going to be viewed as taunting. Trump claims Putin, Xi, and Kim are conspiring against the United States after the military parade they had in China, and he renamed the Department of Defense the Department of War. That and more, if we can fit it in. First up, just in time, Stephen with NASCAR. Stephen, it's NASCAR playoffs. I do have this week, can you believe it? I have a...
Thank you, Stacey.
Yeah. So let me play it and then you can talk about it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. You can't see it, can you?
Not yet.
Sorry, just a moment. Let me...
It's okay. It's all good.
I'm moving faster than...
You're moving faster than me because I was late. So you're doing well.
Okay, thank you.
Stephen the Mountain Man.
Playoff moment. All right, here's
Got around. Blaney.
Roll to the bottom and roll here.
What has happened?
Yellow's out.
Whoa.
Driver who won here, almost won here, I should say, a year ago.
We saw how aggressive that battle was. Larson from way back to the bottom of the racetrack, slides up and just runs into Blaney. Man, Blaney's going to be hot about that.
Oh, man.
That's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know how Kyle Larson's going to be able to explain that, Blaney.
I mean, you look like you did it on purpose, Steve.
He chases
I don't
it up
think
the banking right into
Kyle Larson wouldn't do it on purpose. I think something might have happened to his car. Kyle Larson's he's a good
Jeff,
guy.
I would love to hear some sort of explanation because I cannot come up with one other than he just went in there and got the 12. Let's listen into what Blaney has to
Stephen
say.
came up with one.
Be smart.
I mean, if he did it on purpose, it would surprise
Can we
me.
please stop talking, because you know what? When you guys were talking, they were having the drivers were saying something, and you just made us miss what the drivers were saying while you were talking.
Yeah, we all screwed that up, Stacey. If you want to play it again, I don't think we'll have any objections.
Okay, Keith, cousin
Sorry
Todd.
about that.
Okay, thank you. I will.
Why
play
do you
it
keep
again.
trying to blame me when Stephen's trying to take
No,
the
it was
blame
all of
for
us,
it?
Todd. It was all of us had said something. You and
Yeah, but
and Keith
Stephen,
and I, we all said something. We all screwed up.
Stephen, this is what you would do. I'm pretending to be you.
Oh, okay. Well, pretend to be
only said me.
anything you
She
want,
just said
and
me.
you could
She just
be
said
a
me. Please say
you could be a
unicorn.
unicorn if you
Please
want to
say
be.
you.
You can be a unicorn. I don't care. You can be anything you want to be.
I got rid of that video as soon as I finished it. I dumped it.
Oh.
So,
Oh, I got you, Stacey. I'm sorry about that.
that's all right. Go ahead.
But it was a great race. But you know what's really disappointing? Besides, I can't get my light right here tonight. What's really disappointing is I go to a sports bar every year, and it's been the same way for a lot of years. We watch football. I do it with my fantasy football friends, the ones who are willing to show up, who have enough cojones to show up. They never show. They used to show like a little screen about this big with NASCAR, And every now and then you could walk to the little screen and watch it. No, it's all football all day. It's no NASCAR, and it's crazy. I don't know why it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's too much money.
What is it, Steven?
Oh no! Any bar you go to, like a sports bar. Any sports bar you go to is not going to have NASCAR for some reason, and that's why NASCAR is actually dying because nothing really supports it. Because the NFL is supreme. The NFL rules everything. So I think NASCAR
was supreme.
Huh?
I thought NBA was supreme.
No. You're just being silly. No. It's the NFL. The NFL overrides everything. So no, NBA is a small sport. Baseball is small. The NFL is huge.
Right.
Yeah, NFL is huge.
Even in
but
LA,
you know what's bad?
like,
that NASCAR still tries to compete against it on Sunday. It's not going to work. So what they need to do is midweek races. Take it out. You're not going to compete against the monster. The monster is NFL. It's not NASCAR. It used to be NASCAR. You used to have to pay $100 to see a race. They let you in for free in most tracks now, just to have a crowd. You know what I'm saying? The playoffs are going on right now, and one thing is, I always mention Bubba Wallace because he's so upset NASCAR years ago, but he's in the top 5 of points. But he's only in the top 10 of somebody who realistically has a chance of winning. But I will put a couple dollars, maybe 3, on Bubba to win it all because he is a good driver. He can stand on his own. He has a good team. Michael Jordan is one of his team owners along with Denny Hamlin. So he can win it all. So if you want a really good number to bet on somebody who's in, I think, 4th or 5th now, to get 10 place points is what they think he's going to do. Get him to win it all. That's the way to bet. That's the way you bet and win, because he has a really good. He has as much a chance as anybody else. And these tracks coming up are good tracks for him. So everything's good. I'm really disappointed that NASCAR can't get what they need, but NFL reigns supreme. It always will. And it was one of the best weekends for NASCAR that I've. Opening weeks for for NFL that I've ever seen in my life. It was beautiful this week. Almost every game was unbelievable. It was the greatest week, and not just because my team won, Stacy, or your team won. I just mean in general, it was great football. The Eagles won, my Redskins won, the Buffalo Bills won from a huge deficit. Last night, Minnesota won from a huge deficit. These were just great games that will really pull you in for football. And I love summer. I don't like fall. I'd rather be summer every day. So I'm going to move somewhere where it's warm. But it's great to have football back again because it makes everything relevant. All of the sports shows are better now.
We have to wait, of course, until who comes on for us to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, you can't talk about the Eagles. And that was a great win, by the way. That was great. You have one of the best teams in the NFL. Be happy.
If you want to talk about the Washington Commanders, you can do that.
Well, I don't know anything about the Washington Commanders, but I know the Washington Redskins, which they will be renamed back to their original name. They will be the Washington Redskins. I'm very happy with them. They were playing a Giants team who is a little bit suspect, but they do have a good defense. That's why they stymied us a little bit. And they do have a good team. And they're going to be okay. They probably end up in 4th place, but they're not that bad. So I appreciate everything our guys did. Deebo Samuels is a monster. He's like having Derrick Henry on our team. When they used him right in the first game, I believe they're going to keep using him right. I hope they use Austin Eckler, a little bit more than they do because I have him. I tried to get Deebo, but I don't have him on the fantasy team. But Deebo is the man. He's gonna do everything that's unbelievable for our team. And San Francisco is really gonna miss Deebo Samuels. And that's my prediction that he's gonna be one of our best players on our team. We have one of the best quarterbacks. We should make the playoffs, but let me tell you, Stacey, something's really funky about the Dallas Cowboys. I do think they're going to be competitive. I thought this before. You did beat them, and you beat them well, even without one of your best defensive players, no question. But I think Dallas is going to be a sneaky good team because Dak is healthy and he didn't do that well, this week. But they have good receivers. They have a good running back. They're going to be okay. They have a defense that's going to be okay, even without one of their best players. They did get a guy that could rush the quarterback. So I think Dallas don't underestimate them. But I do think Washington and Philly is going to finish first and second, but I don't know who is going to be what. But y'all are very impressive.
Okay, I don't want to talk about it anymore because Aguna's going to come on and he'll want to talk about it. But you think Philadelphia and Dallas are going to be first, second in the
No. I think Dallas has potential to be first or second. I think they have the potential on their team, even though they lost one of their best players. But I think it's going to be Washington and the Eagles. They're going to be first and second, but I don't know which one. But I think Dallas has potential. Huh?
In the NFC East or in the entire league?
In the NFC East, but in the entire league, y'all have something very special going on. Y'all could be a dynasty right now. You could be the next Patriots. You could be something very special right now. And I think y'all have a great team. I think you have great coaches. I don't think you missed anything. You proved how good you could be. I just think we're going to the Washington team, I'll just call them the Redskins. I think they're going to be very competitive. I think they'll be very good. Okay. So, yeah, I'm very interested to hear what Aguna says. I know he's going to be okay with it, but always he has a thing about Jalen Hurts, and a lot of Eagle fans are a little bit questionable about him. But I've always loved Hurts, and I always thought he's one of the pieces in your team that makes you great, even though he doesn't do things that you think that are great. He's a great player, and you have a great team all the way around. So it wouldn't surprise me if you won the Super Bowl. But also I think other teams have advanced. Okay. So it's going to be a really good year this year. So can you talk about your Eagles before Aguna, or you gonna wait for him?
We're gonna wait for Aguna to talk
about
it.
All right, I got you.
But we can talk about how the Kansas City Chiefs kind of imploded down there in Brazil.
They didn't have any chance at all. I mean, once they lost their top receiver, Worthy, which I have on my fantasy team, that's why I know. Once they lost him, they were in a really big predicament. And they weren't at home. They weren't in the United States. What you got to understand also with Kansas City is they do really well at home and in the United States because they know the referees. I don't know who the referees were. They might have been Rio de Janeiro referees, but they were honest referees. But Kansas City has helped very much to do as well as they do. And everybody knows it's not a conspiracy theory. Kansas City has helped a lot. But I have Worthy on my team. So who they have left? They don't have Rice. He's suspended. They have the stupid tight end, Kelsey. And he's no good anymore. He's washed up. He even got a touchdown. But they had already lost the game. The Los Angeles Chargers, which is hard to remember because they're San Diego. The Los Angeles Chargers are not that good. And Kansas City laid an egg. And they're going to come back from it. And hopefully Worthy, who hurt his shoulder from getting hurt by Kelsey on the third play of the game, hopefully he can come back with some kind of brace. But I don't know. He was their number one receiver. And that's pretty tough. So Kansas City may be done for the year. Who knows?
What happened to the Rams? They used to be so good a few years ago.
The Rams won. The Rams won this week.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
the Rams are good.
We're going to hold off on the Philadelphia Eagles until Aguna comes back. But in the meantime, let me go and show this video for the U.S. Open with tennis and Todd. Just a moment. Share my screen. I'm moving too quickly. All right, here we go.
Donald Trump's attendance at the 2025 U.S. Open drew mixed reactions. The president attended the tennis tournament's men's singles final championship match on Sunday afternoon, where Spain's Carlos Alcaraz faced Italy's Yannick Sinner. During the national anthem, the 79-year-old politician was shown on the Jumbotron, and the crowd's reaction rang out. Prior to the September 7th final, the U.S. Tennis Association instructed broadcasters to, quote, refrain from showcasting any disruptions or reactions in response to the president's attendance in any capacity, according to an email obtained by the tennis blog Bounces. Sunday's final concluded with Carlos Alcaraz clinching his second U.S. Open title. Carlos took home a check for $5 million and has swiped the #1 world ranking in the sport from Yannick with this win.
Okay. So that was Sinner and Alcaraz. Now the girls, Sabalenka played an American, Anna Samova, and Sabalenka won.
Yep.
And in the men's, of course, Alcaraz beat Sinner. Now they had played prior to this. They played in Wimbledon, which was the last tournament, and Sinner won that match against Alcaraz. And they also played in the French Open right before Wimbledon, and Alcaraz won that one. So it's been a match between those two for the last season. Djokovic was out.
He's just too old, right, Todd?
No, you're too old.
How old is he? How old is he?
Djokovic is about half of your age.
So he's 13.
Oh, that was a good one. I don't know how old he is.
He's a Serbian tennis player who's 38 years old.
Yeah, I don't think
and he's great. He's a great tennis player.
I can't
He's 38 years old.
I know
Now,
you hate him.
What Todd hasn't said is right before Sinner, because I watched every match once it got to the last like 2 matches before the final one. Sinner beat Djokovic.
Right.
No. I'm sorry. Alcaraz beat Djokovic. Got it mixed up.
Right.
Alcaraz beat Djokovic. And what they were saying was at Alcaraz, they showed a picture of Alcaraz when he first started playing tennis and showed the ages of Sinner and Alcaraz. And they said, look, Sinner and Alcaraz were like toddlers when Djokovic was playing tennis
Right.
tennis. So they were saying that his age was making a difference in why Djokovic did not win. He had the technique, he has the experience, he knows all the quick little ways to kind of, the shortcuts, but at the same time, his age, he's 38 and those guys are 24 and, 27.
Okay.
Big difference.
Yeah, he might be a little beat down on his knee or his ankle or something. He might got a little something going on somewhere.
Well, he was having his trainer come out and massage different parts of his body, which is not unusual for that to occur to tennis players, during breaks during the match.
Right.
Cousin Todd, what were you going to say?
I was going to say how ridiculous that sounds, but since they were doing that for Venus and Serena, I said, do it to them. So,
do what to them? Massage them?
No. Be
be clear.
ageist. Be
Todd.
ageist.
Oh, being ageist.
I didn't want to embarrass.
Speak
I didn't
English.
want to embarrass
Be clear.
Stacy and tell you that she's an ageist when the boy is 38 years old and she's saying he's too old. That's the same
But
crap.
we all know
about-
38 is not too old in any sport.
This is the same
38
thing
is not
she
too
was
old.
saying- This is the same thing Stacey was saying about Serena. And so I don't know why she's such an ageist. I didn't want to embarrass her and cause attention to what she said, but she left me no choice.
But
Now-
wasn't Serena in her 40s or something?
Ma'am,
No, that
ma'am.
was Venus. Venus just played and lost, and she's 45.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Wow.
the money.
I was trying to pull his string.
Yeah, if
I
Venus
think
can do
it-
it, then so can they. So
Yeah.
Look at that. Did
It's
you
not
hear that?
about. It's not
Did
really
you
about
hear what
age.
he said, Stacy? If Venus can do it, let the white boys do it.
yeah,
This is
why not?
yeah, why not? You know
Why
what?
do we care what color they are, Todd?
Even
Exactly.
your
Just let
boy
the
Like
toy
that.
boys be
cares what
boys. Doesn't matter what
the
color they
boy
are. Let the
toy
boys be boys.
your boy toy cares what color they are. This is
No,
why
nobody
whenever
cares what color anybody is,
hey,
man.
Let
hey,
me
hey,
let me
We're all
this
we're all
again
creatures of
because
God.
Cousin Todd didn't say anything about this. So let me play this again because he said nothing, which was really
I
odd.
did never finish. I can't finish anything with you and these quacks on.
Donald Trump's attendance at the 2025 U.S. Open drew mixed reactions. The president attended the tennis tournament's men's singles final championship match on Sunday afternoon, where Spain's Carlos Alcaraz faced Italy's Yannick Sinner. During the national anthem, the 79-year-old politician was shown on the Jumbotron, and the crowd's reaction rang out. Prior to the September 7th final, the U.S. Tennis Association instructed broadcasters to, quote, refrain from showcasting any disruptions or reactions in response to the president's attendance in any capacity, according to an email obtained by the tennis blog Bounces. Sunday's final concluded with Carlos Alcaraz clinching his second U.S. Open title. Carlos took home a check for $5 million and has swiped the #1 world ranking in the sport from Yannick with this win.
All right, so we heard the rest. You wanted me to comment on Trump being at the tennis match.
Yes, and also please comment on the fact that the Tennis Association sent out to the press, do not show any reaction of the crowd to Donald Trump.
Why would they do that? That's ridiculous.
What do you mean? Why would they do that? I don't.
Why would they do that? Just let the natural reaction. Just let the people see what the reaction is. Why?
Yeah,
why do you want to? Why do you want to?
Yeah,
mess
that
that up.
violates
That's ridiculous.
First Amendment.
It's
Violates the
ridiculous.
First
Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, shut up. Shut up.
It's so weak. It's very weak.
Hey,
All right,
Aguna's
you're going to have
here.
to
All
stop
right.
talking.
Aguna's
All right, go ahead, Todd. Todd,
Okay,
please go.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
They're booing him constantly everywhere he goes, and that is a distraction. There was a person, I'm sure you didn't recognize it, but there was a person singing, and he probably felt he was being booed because it came out of nowhere. He's not watching the Jumbotron, he's singing.
I didn't hear the booze.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the booze. Maybe you did because you want to hear booze. I didn't hear any booze.
Okay.
I didn't either, Steven.
All right, listen to me.
Yeah, I'm being honest.
Listen to me carefully, dum-dums. They booed him. That's that.
Okay, they booed him.
So that's it. They booed
Okay,
him.
it's all good. Let's move on to the next. Stacy, thank you.
So
Didn't even
this
sound
is
like
why
it,
they didn't. I know it didn't sound like that to you, Tom, but they booed him. So they don't want that.
You are the Tom. You are the Tom for the left.
Okay. Stop taking.
That's
up
what
my
you are.
boy.
You are the Uncle Tom of the left.
Listen,
Todd.
why won't you?
And
get
Uncle
married
Tom
to
is
him?
actually
The
on
only
the left.
reason you
That's who
won't
you
marry
are.
him is because
Every white liberal
why buy
woman
the
loves
cow
you. Every
so
white
you can
liberal
get the
woman
milk
loves
for
you because
free?
you are the Tom of the left.
So now
You
what do
say
you
everything
want?
that liberal white women want you to
Hey,
say,
listen
Todd.
to me. Listen to
All
me.
right, go
Why
ahead, man.
won't you get married?
I've been married twice.
Yeah, but you figure now at this stage, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?
You don't even get the milk for free. I don't care if they're single or you married to them. It all costs you, man. Everything. Hey, women are expensive, man. You Todd, you're probably better off not dealing with women because they're expensive. If you want to be rich, don't mess with no women, man.
Excuse me, you have to pick the woman that you can afford. All women are.
That's exactly right, Stacy. Pick the woman you can afford.
Okay, Todd, we're going to close this up. Aguna's here, and we got to go to the NFL.
Oh,
Aguna's here.
Go Eagles! Go Eagles!
Nobody knows. They talked over you, Todd.
Go Redskins. Go Eagles.
Oh, because Keith Stephen is excited because Agun is here, and he doesn't know quite what to do. He doesn't know if he should dump his boy toy or. Well, never mind. Just forget I said anything.
We already have, Todd.
Right, Todd. We've forgotten. Let me show this, and then I'll have Aguna come in and talk about it.
Oh, wait, before you do that, it's one last thing. Stephen, a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't get a chance to mention this, Stephen was trying to make his boy toy jealous, and he had a girl over his house, and he was saying things like, hey, would you be a doll and answer the door for me? And I'm thinking, why is he saying that? And so then I figured it out. So, oh, really? Somebody's coming this late at night? Thank you for answering my door. He wanted everybody to know there was a girl over his house.
I did not. Somebody was knocking on the door late, and I was like, "Hey, catch a door." It was a genuine response to something that happened organically.
I know.
I wasn't trying to do anything, Todd. I just I hope nobody's really knocking on my door. I hope it's not the feds because I think the deep state doesn't like everything I say. I was like, check the door, check the door.
Anyway,
so they don't like what I'm saying on the show.
I want to move on to get to the point. So then you went to see Angela. So how did you explain that little tete-a-tete to Angela?
Wow, aren't you a Mrs. Kravitz from the Bewitched series? You're a Mrs. Kravitz.
I don't know.
You're looking through the blinds. You're trying to see everything that's going on. Todd, what you need to do is reinforce what's going on in your life. You need to make your life better and not worry so much about mine, man.
And be a
you are way too much about. I'll be glad to tell you anything you want to know. Because I'm a free man. I do what I want to do.
How do we get
I don't have so many more years left in life. I do whatever I want to do. And nobody beats me down for it. Everybody loves the freedom. I love freedom.
Wasting time.
Yeah, if you surround yourself with good people, you don't have to worry about drama.
Takes off. Jalen Hurts. Touchdown, Philadelphia.
The Birds soaring to victory over the Cowboys, but not without some drama just after the opening kick.
I got no idea what he's thinking.
Eagles star defensive lineman Jalen Carter ejected after spitting on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott.
That was selfish, disrespectful. You cannot do that.
More of the interaction revealed later.
Prescott in the huddle walks out between his offensive linemen, and Dak spits down towards the ground, but in the direction of the Eagles. And that begins the interaction of the two.
What Dak did was not a foul.
Right.
What Jalen did was a foul.
Both teams moving on, lighting up the scoreboard in the first half. The only thing that could slow the action, the weather. Lightning in the third quarter, delaying play for over an hour before Jalen Hurts and the Eagles were able to put the finishing touches on the victory.
It's a new team. It's a new journey.
Tonight, the stage is set for a marquee matchup in Brazil as the Chiefs and Chargers, two teams with big playoff dreams, prepare for battle.
We're getting to bring the game that we love to them.
Kansas City Stars trying to put last season's Super Bowl disappointment behind them. Travis Kelce asked if it's difficult to keep his focus on the field in light of his recent engagement to Taylor Swift.
I got one more ring from it. I would say ever since I've been dating Taylor, life has been fun. It's been exciting.
And there's more excitement ahead in a must-watch week one, with huge rivalry games setting the tone. The Bills hosting the Ravens, the Lions facing the Packers, and the Vikings lining up against the Bears, as the quest for Super Bowl 60 is now officially underway.
And as much fun. Okay, Aguna, it's all yours.
Yeah, so I'm very happy to be back, watching football. So, the NFL, I was there. I knew the game was going to be close. Just because, football is a new male soap opera. So after the Cowboys traded Michael Parsons and I saw the line move to like a point, it was like 7.5. I was like, okay, the Vegas is going to make sure that, it's going to be closer than whatever, because everybody was saying a blowout. It's still a division game. Dak Prescott is still a decent quarterback, and they have some pretty good receivers in Dallas. So I didn't know how our secondary would hold up. And in the beginning, there were 8 straight drives, points. There were a couple field goals and a couple touchdowns. But the second half with the thunderstorm and everything, things slowed down a little bit. Again, A.J. Brown didn't have a big game. Jalen Hurts had a very good game. I mean, he managed the game well. I feel the Eagles didn't open up their offense. They really played very vanilla. And the Cowboys, they actually played with nothing to lose. So their defense was flying around the ball. So they made a couple plays when they had to. So the game stayed close. But at the end of the day, the Eagles were up at the half, and there was only 3 points in the second half. And so, I mean, of course, the controversy was in the beginning with the whole spitting thing. Now, my thing is this. Yeah, I mean, you can't make a bonehead play like this if you're Jalen Carter. But I know Dak started it. And Dak, he's a veteran guy, so he knows he's going to talk trash. He had nothing to lose. He was playing with house money. It was like nobody expected us to do anything. And so he successfully got our number one defender ejected. And luckily, again, they suspended him for one game, and they just counted the game that he got ejected out of as the game he got suspended, and they gave him a fine. I think they may fine Dak. I don't know if they fined him or not, but they found him $50K.
Excuse me, Gunnar. I'm not trying to interrupt you, but they won't fine him. And what they did about throwing that Eagle guy out, that was wrong. They shouldn't have thrown him out. He didn't spit in his face. He spit back at somebody who spit at him. They shouldn't have thrown it out. They should have seen where Dak.
But he did it in front of the refs.
Changed the game a lot. That changed the game a lot. Not that guy. He's worth 2 players. That's one of your best defensive players.
But again, you can't. It's like one of those things where they always see the retaliation. They never see because they probably. I mean, I don't even think they saw Dak. I don't think they saw him do it.
But they have cameras that showed Dak doing it first. They have cameras. They should have.
But the refs didn't see that. The ref didn't see it. The ref didn't see it. I'm telling you, it happened. It was a bam, bam. The ref didn't see it. They didn't go back and review anything. They basically said, "Oh, what the hell are you doing?" And so the thing is, if you're that important to the team, and I get it, because I didn't want him to be out the game either. But if you're that important to the team, you can't give into that. And it reminds me of a game we played, and it was against Michael Vick. We were playing Atlanta. It was the opening. It was right after we had actually gone to the Super Bowl, I think. I'm not quite sure, but we ended up coming to play Atlanta, and they got Jeremiah Trotter thrown out the game on the opening kickoff or something like that. It was something weird happened, and we ended up losing that game. But at the end of the day, I think, at the end of the day, we're going to move on from it. We got Kansas City. That's going to be an interesting game since they lost to the Chargers. I don't think Kansas City is as strong as they used to be. But I do think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder, and it's their home opener. So if we win that game, I think, the Eagles will probably make a case to having a very successful. I still think the Eagles are going to go to playoffs.
You're going to destroy Kansas City. They have nothing right now. You're going to destroy them.
Well,
they have nothing.
Well, I mean, they got
emotions. You're going to beat them by 15 points.
Cowboys didn't have nothing either. So it's like,
they did.
You look at it like
defense.
And I think
good offense.
I do think the Cowboys have better receivers, of course. I think they have a better quarterback. Kansas City has better quarterbacks. You just don't know. I think the thing about the NFL, the first 4 weeks are always suspect. Anything can happen the first 4 weeks of the year because no one's they're not in their shape yet.
Right. It's almost like preseason now. Some teams are still playing a preseason game because if your starters don't start, it's just like their first preseason game. So don't be discouraged yet by some of your offensive players on your team. But I think you got Kansas City destroyed. They have nobody right now. They are completely depleted. Y'all should destroy them by 15. I'm going to take y'all plus the points.
Okay, so let me say this.
I think we're down. We're underdogs by a point and a half. I think we're.
Are you an underdog? Really? Oh my God, that makes it even better. Oh, that's great.
Well, let me say this. I thought it was really like a low blow of Dak Prescott to do that. He's supposed to be the leader. He's the quarterback of the team. He's the leader for the Dallas Cowgirls, and for him to start that and to do that was very disappointing. I expected much
spitting
more.
on somebody is assault. That's an assault. Legally speaking, that's considered assault.
But they both should be in trouble. If one's in trouble, then Dak should be in trouble. Why he's not in trouble, I don't know. Because
But you know, this is football. You know, So Keith, so you're the main one comes on here saying back in the day, you know, they used to play with no helmets and all kind of stuff. Now you're saying, you know, because back in the day they used to do more than spit on each other.
Yeah, yes.
I know.
And he was saying
so now you're saying now you're saying it's an assault. It sounds like you're getting soft,
I'm
Keith.
just telling you.
Crazy.
I didn't say that I necessarily agree with it. I'm just saying that's what the law. That's the law.
No, we're talking about the football. We're talking about football. You used to say how these guys they getting concussions and all this stuff is fake. Now you're saying that spitting is an assault charge.
It is. It is.
Well, that sounds like you're getting soft, Keith.
It sounds like he's a flip flopper because how can you first say they don't play with helmets?
But to be fair to Keith, he's not really a sports guy. We got to be fair to Keith. He's not really a sports guy.
What's his name? What was that? What was that guy that did he did a drop elbow on a guy who was down on his neck, took him out? I think it was the Eagles player that actually did it in our first. We did it against the Giants, but they used to do all kind of stuff to each other.
And Keith,
spitting is an easy thing. You know, spitting at one point wasn't even they expected to spit on each other.
Yeah. Well,
as long as you don't spit in their eyes.
I'm making a comment based on the way the culture is today. I didn't say that I agreed with it. That's the culture today. Yeah. The culture today, they're the winners.
Yeah, you didn't preface it by that. You said you went straight to assault charge. And the Keith I used to know, would never go that way.
No,
the Keith I used to know would never say that.
He wants young black men in jail.
That's considered in this culture, in this time.
All right,
Generation Z.
Thank you. Anything else? Anything else, Aguna, before we move?
So it just sounds, Keith. It sounds like you just want to be a contrarian, Keith.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
Google that. Google contrarian.
Okay,
Google contrarian, Keith.
Excuse me.
He doesn't have to.
I must say there are 5. Excuse me. There are 5 African American, or 4 African American male quarterbacks that are leading the NFC East teams.
Yeah, but aren't they all half breeds?
Huh?
You said what again, Stacey? There's 4 African Americans in the NFC East.
No, 4 African Americans.
4 African Americans in the NBA.
The teams in the NFC East.
In the NFL?
In the NFL.
He said NBA. He's trying to be funny.
I said the NFC East. The NFC East teams, all of their quarterbacks are African American right now.
Oh,
okay.
First string quarterbacks.
Wow. All right. Todd likes that.
And the number 1 running back in the NFL is a white boy.
What is
named McCaffrey?
Oh, really?
He is not the number 1 running back.
Oh,
really? He is the number 1 running back that's coming off an injury.
He is not.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about fantasy points or something? I wouldn't even say that. Did you not see Derrick Henry?
Oh, no. You've got me on Derrick Henry. I'm saying for this week, going into this week, you're right. You're right. For fantasy, McCaffrey's the number 1 running back this week in fantasy.
Is it?
Yeah. But did
he have receptions or something?
Hey, Aguna, you know what I said today to a bunch of people? I said Derrick Henry needs to be in another league that has freaks like him. Just take all these freaks and put them together and don't let them play in the NFL because the NFL ain't got nothing for him. Ain't nobody got nothing for Derrick Henry. He is a freak. 31, 32 maybe. There ain't nobody in this NFL league got nothing for that man. He trucks people. He's unbelievable.
If he wouldn't have fumbled, it would have been a moot point.
No.
So, Aguna, can you tell Todd and Keith who Derrick Henry plays for?
I don't need him to tell me.
The Baltimore Ravens.
I know exactly who he is.
He's an unbelievable specimen. I've never seen anybody like him. Never.
Okay.
And to be an older guy, like we're all older people here, Todd. So we all ought to respect older people who do well. So Derrick Henry or Serena that can do well when they get older is something we should all get together and we should all praise.
You had him at Serena. You had him at Serena.
Oh, listen, it's Two-Face.
You had Todd at Serena.
Who's doing the drums, Keith?
I don't know why you came to me, but
You were just saying.
Henry.
You know who Henry is.
Yeah, I do, and I would
Not
pick,
John Henry.
I would.
Derrick Henry.
Oh gosh,
His
I
name is
can't
O.
even get it
Henry.
out. Forget it.
Let
Forget
him
it.
finish, please.
These people won't stop. Every time I try to make it.
Sorry. Take it.
Thank you. Now just hold your breath until I'm done. I would not pick Henry over Charles Barkley. Bye, Felicia.
Gosh. Abraham Todd Lincoln. You need this.
Wow.
Don't quit your day job there, buddy.
He doesn't have a day job. This is the only job he has.
Are you kidding me? Listen to this freak of nature. This is the only job he has. Your job is to make your boy toy jealous and pretend you have girls coming over the house. Hey, could you be a doll and answer my door for
Boy,
me?
Stephen, he can't let that go, Stephen.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's
it's all
kind of
good,
he's
man.
busting you out there, Stephen.
No, I'm enjoying
Israel
it.
launched another strike in Qatar today.
An attack against Hamas leadership there. Local 10's Caroline Coles in the newsroom with the latest developments here.
Well, the Middle East crisis really reaching a critical turning point with the dramatic new military push by Israel and a direct warning coming from the president. The situation on the ground shifting by the hour. I want to show you some new video from Qatar, which shows thick clouds of smoke rising over Doha following what officials say was an Israeli strike targeting Hamas leadership. That strike sending shockwaves through the region, even as Israel intensifies its ground and air campaign inside Gaza. Israel has now ordered a full evacuation of Gaza City, distributing maps directing civilians west to the coast and south ahead of what it calls a complete military takeover. Israeli forces saying they now control 40% of the Gaza Strip. Meanwhile, at the White House, the president is turning up the pressure, warning of severe consequences if Hamas refuses to release all remaining hostages. The message, very simple, that the president is saying. He's saying there will not be another warning. Now, an executive producer with CNN, his name is Andrew Potter, he was there during the attack, and here's what he described about the moments he experienced.
I was in my hotel room. The windows rattled over a period of about 10 seconds. I thought there were window cleaners on the glass, but turns out there's been a massive explosion here in Doha.
Israel's strike in Doha has really shattered a diplomatic red line and left the future of ceasefire diplomacy really teetering right there on the brink. Christy.
Okay, start with Keith. Keith,
is Trump trying to get us into a war? That's the
question. It wasn't my question.
Okay.
My question was, how can the president of Israel just arbitrarily go and make a strike on Qatar, who is an ally of the United States? Qatar said, hey, Hamas, you can have a office here. And we're only letting you have an office here because we want you to be able to negotiate freely and safely. And that's why you have office here. And then Israel says, okay, while we're negotiating, we're just going to, you did something to us yesterday. We're going to hit you in Qatar, not in Gaza, but in Qatar. Why do that and not give warning or discuss it for approval from the United States first?
They never listen to the United States.
It sounds to me like Trump is not angry with him because if he's saying to Hamas, he's threatening Hamas to saying where there will not be another warning, he better release those hostages. That's what he's focused on. So I don't see how he could be upset about it. So, no problem. That's the way I look at it.
Right on.
What happens is these people punk Trump, and I hate it. Benjamin Netanyahu punks Trump.
No, he doesn't.
Nobody punks Trump.
Nobody
They
punks
punk
Trump.
him, and they make him look like he's weak.
No, they don't.
Just like they just
Donald Trump does not look weak.
Okay,
like
okay. Wait a minute, please. One at a time. Cousin Todd, you started off, so this is going to be your turn. Then Stephen, then Aguna.
Okay. These people, Benjamin Netanyahu and Russia, they punk Trump constantly. Just like Russia had a powwow with his boy toys without Trump. Trump didn't like that, but he had to save face and pretend like, oh, well, we'll see if we're friends. That was an embarrassment to Trump. He just finished making love to, he just finished having Putin here and well, not here, but in Alaska.
That's
And
here. That's part of our country.
I know, but it wasn't in Washington D.C.
Yeah, gotcha.
And I said Alaska because Russia owned Alaska, and then they sold it to America.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, they met there, and he rolled out the red carpet for him, only to have him turn around and do this trilateral meeting with his buddies, and so it made Trump look silly. It just did, and the world knows it. And this is what they were saying: do not trust him.
Okay.
Don't trust him because he keeps making you look weak.
Right.
And mind you, I don't even like Trump like that, but I don't like for our president to look weak.
Okay,
And between Benjamin and this boy, they keep punking him.
Okay, so for President Netanyahu, Stephen, to do that, that puts us in a situation where everyone thinks that if anyone retaliates against Israel, they've got to deal with the United States.
Oh, they definitely have to deal with the United States. Anybody that's going to mess with Israel, they're going to have to deal with the United States. We're not going to let that end. We are partners in this because they want to take out the what they call the big Satan and the little Satan. We're the big Satan. Israel's the little Satan. They want to take us both out. First, they want to take out Israel, then they want to take out the United States. And anybody in the United States that is not on the side of the United States and not against the people who want to take us out, then all of y'all are treasonous, and all of y'all should be shot or hung or tarred and feathered. All of y'all should be tarred and feathered, hung or shot. You're not American people. You're not good for this country. You don't. Can you stop him from talking?
I just did.
Okay, thank you. So what they need to do is release the hostages, Todd. They need to release the hostages. Guess what? Israel that you hate, Israel didn't take any hostages. Israel didn't screw any babies. Israel didn't kill any babies. Israel didn't kill any women when they were screwing them and then killed them. Israel did not do that on the 7th. This is what they need to do. All the prisoners that are still there and the dead ones, the ones that are treating so bad, Hamas is doing to Israel, they need to release all the prisoners and then the war will end, Todd. I'm sorry you're not a smart person like Keith and I. I'm sorry you're not smart. But also, all they have to do, an office in Kuwait, Todd, they have Hamas has an office in Kuwait. We ought to destroy Kuwait. We ought to wipe out Kuwait for letting Hamas have their premier top guys in Kuwait. We killed them, and we should kill anybody in Kuwait that does that. They are harboring terrorists, Stacy, please. They're harboring terrorists. We need to wipe these people out who want to take out Israel and the United States. And if you are not on the side of Israel and the United States, then you are a traitor to the United States, and you need to be hung, shot, or tarred and feathered. Whatever. Okay. You're not a good American. We are American people. We are fighting for our lives. And if you want Islam, if you want the people who want to kill us, you support Palestine.
Thank you, Stephen. You have to stop.
If you support Palestine over the United States, you need to be shot or hung or tarred and feathered. That's what our forefathers did. That's what they did.
Okay, thank you. Stephen, you have to stop. Okay,
thank you, Stacey. I appreciate you for indulging me. Thank you, Stacey. I love you. Right. Thank you.
Aguna, when the president allows Netanyahu to pull the United States into war.
Stacey, would you please deal with that? Do you think Americans should be shot or hung or tarred and feathered? Be American.
Of course not, but that's not. Don't pull me into this, Todd. I'm trying to get to another point.
Well, I thought you would say that's un-American. We don't do that here.
Well,
This is
everyone
what.
should know that. If you have common sense, you should
Okay.
know no one does that in America. No one
Okay.
shoots someone, tars and feathers them because they don't agree with them. You
Okay.
don't see that happening in the street.
Well, that's what makes your show special because
No,
you
they
just
shoot them.
explained that.
They
They
shoot them
used
for a
to
lot
do that in
lesser
America when we
reasons.
had a sane
shoot 'em for
society. They used to do that to people who
Well,
hated their country. We used to kill people who hated their country. That's
No,
what we
look at
did in
this.
this
Look at
country.
this
That's what our
demon.
forefathers did. That's what we did, Todd. Sorry,
Okay,
sorry.
They shoot them for a lot lesser reasons, Todd. Yeah,
Do you
they
see
shoot them for a
these
lot lesser
demons?
reasons.
These are Christians. These are Christians. Those two demons.
They shoot
The
them for a
devil
lot
is a
lesser
Stephen
liar.
was against the death penalty at one point.
I
okay,
know.
Abdullah,
So
wait a minute. Let me finish my question. Will Netanyahu's actions pull us into a war that will
Mhm.
ultimately cause Donald
Mhm.
Trump to stay in office past 28?
I don't know. I mean, I think the danger of this is, and before Ty got cut off, he had a point in the sense of Donald Trump went over to Qatar earlier this year, and he made some deals with American companies. He made Boeing. He bailed Boeing out by setting up some deals with the Emirates and Qatar, and a lot of these so-called enemies of the United States, right? But in actuality, he put the credibility of the United States behind these negotiations when he engaged the Arab Union in all these talks, right? So for Israel to go and not let us know until the last minute and to bomb Qatar, who, mind you, is going to give Donald Trump a jet, by the way. So you risk that credibility. And if I know Stephen was on here talking about how if you're a traitor, if you hate Israel, Donald Trump was negotiating with the Emirates. He was negotiating. All right. So is he a traitor too by even engaging? By just saying, whoa, Israel, don't do all this stuff. You can't go willy-nilly. And because if there's a retaliation, it's going to pull America and troops we have troops stationed in Qatar. We have troops stationed in Kuwait. Yeah, I get it. Hamas is a terrorist organization, but make no mistake, Netanyahu is done negotiating. All right. He's done. He's not trying to get peace deal. He's not trying to sit here and entertain Hamas anymore. So it's not even a question on where we're going anymore. Right. So, but I do think he needs to.
We're not going to go to war.
I do think he needs to respect the United States, work with Donald Trump before he starts doing all this stuff, because at the end of the day, there are American jobs and deals on the table. So if you go in there, bomb, and then now they're pulling off these contracts, they're pulling back on all the negotiating that we've done. I think that puts Donald Trump and all his stuff at risk if he's going in. So that's all I'm gonna say. Okay. But at the end of the day, Netanyahu has already said he's going to do what he wants to do. All right. So whether the U.S. is on board,
he's going to do what he has to do, right? Aguna, do you agree? He's going to do what he has to do to save his people,
He's
right?
do what he wants to do.
What he has to do to save his people.
That's a little sticking point because Gaza is rubble.
The biggest revision we've had. I'd go back.
At this point, Gaza is rubble.
This may be the biggest revision ever, Sarah. We minus 911,000 payroll growth from April of 2024 through March of 2025 is 911,000 less than previously reported. What has happened now to the month over month, or the monthly growth rate, has gone from what we thought was 147,000 a month to now just 70,000 a month. So 1.7 million jobs is now 847,000 jobs created over that period. So over that time period, payrolls were quite a bit weaker. Remember, this is the period ending 5 months ago. This is the annual benchmark revisions that's done every year. This is a preliminary number. Over time, it tends to actually be revised a little bit higher. The revision to the revision ends up being a little bit higher, but right now it's suggesting much weaker payroll growth. I will point out that this is definitely towards the high side of what I've seen from Wall Street analysts. And now you have to plug in you have to start thinking about, what does this say about today? In other words, this data is 5 months old. We won't know until the final revisions in February which month each of the weakness belongs to, but we do know a bit about which industries it belongs to. And we have a chart here, 880,000 from the private sector, The biggest revision came from trade, transportation, and utilities of 226,000, 126,000 off in retail. Leisure and hospitality down 176,000. Professional business services down 158,000. So widespread in the, I don't see it here. Not a lot in private education and health services, which was a big, you can see the recent revisions there. The second biggest revision that I have, Sarah, in my records is 2009 in the wake of the great financial crisis. And what had happened in that situation was some of the modeling was wrong. Some of the birth, death of businesses was wrong. This may be the case right now. We might have come into this year with much more weakness than we thought we had in the job market. It was okay. It seemed to be like the unemployment rate remained relatively stable. So whatever we were doing was okay to keep the unemployment rate, a separate survey, relatively low, but we were not creating as many jobs as we thought. And I know that some Fed officials, Chris Waller among them, think this is part of a broader story of weakness in the job market that should cause the Federal Reserve to cut. And we'll see what happens now to the, I don't know if we're able to get you right away an update on Fed funds futures, but certainly the market was primed for 325 basis point cuts this year.
Okay, I know that's boring you, but it's not Aguna. So Aguna,
It's not boring me either, Stacey. I think it's fascinating.
All right, so Aguna, can you talk to what he was basically saying about the United States job report?
Yeah, so when it comes to job reports, there are multiple indicators that come in at different times, and as a result, you have to readjust the numbers. And so it's not that the numbers are necessarily wrong, it's that you're learning more information about the dynamics of the statistics. So if you just want to say at face, these are wrong numbers, they were wrong, or it's a lie, that you can say that. However, it's getting more information and making the adjustments based on the more clearer data. And there's usually a lag between the time that you get certain numbers and the time that you get then they actually validate it through other measures, right? So you may get that certain payrolls have been added. You may get certain information about salaries. You may get information about different sectors at different times during the year. And so what you're seeing is there's a course correction of the numbers from like going back almost a year ago, in which there weren't as many jobs being created. Now, sometimes it could be on the plus side, right? So sometimes you can look back a year and be like, oh, we got it wrong because there were more. In this case, there were actually less, meaning that there were other factors such as consumer confidence that may have played into whether the economy was growing or not. So what you're seeing now is now that you've gotten a couple of quarters underneath this new administration and this new fiscal year, is usually a 2-quarter lag, right? So back in March, what did we have? We had the tariffs. We had the Fed kept rates steady. We had all these things happen. So now it's trying to catch up. And for all practical purposes, most economists are saying the market is slowing down. It didn't grow as fast. And in fact, it's shrinking a little bit. So we may be heading to a recession. Now, does that mean that we're definitely going to have a recession? No. But when you start factoring all the different changes, meaning consumer confidence, are we spending as much as we used to? Right? Not a lot of people want to go out and buy a bunch of stuff. You got Christmas coming up. Now you got all the tariffs. Remember, Trump said, hey, maybe you can't buy $20. Now you got to only buy 2. Well, those $2 come with a price because you're increasing the tariffs. You looked at a week ago, you saw Putin and India and Xi Jinping in China. They all met because they're talking about the new global supply chain that they may be putting into place outside of the United States, which will impact confidence in the dollar. All that being said is we're not growing as fast. You can blame Biden, you can blame all these different things, but it's on Trump watch now. So what is he going to do to course correct? And I think part of it is putting pressure on the Fed to lower interest rates. Now, they're probably going to have to lower interest rates. But even if they lower interest rates, that doesn't mean it's going to course correct in time to keep us out of the recession. Because right now, employers aren't hiring. And now, for the first time in a long time, there are more people looking for jobs than there are jobs available. And so when you have that situation, you're going to start seeing an uptake of unemployment. and you start seeing an uptake of employment, and then you also got to take into fact, the border crackdown where a lot of cheap labor is no longer in the market. You got a lot of people not buying homes. You got a lot of people, getting laid off from the federal workforce. So all these different things are going to come to fruition, and we're more than likely going to be en route to a deep recession, just because it's going to take time for this stuff to course correct.
No. And Stacey, if that's what I was going to ask Laguna, did he think that was going to happen? They were doing this to affect the Fed, to get them to make the changes that they wanted. And it seems to me that's what they're trying to do. I think the country's fine. I think everything's okay. They're doing this on purpose. Didn't they fire a person that didn't give them the right numbers that they wanted? Blah blah blah, whatever.
Right.
So this is all on purpose.
That was in Bureau of Labor Statistics in the Department of Labor. He fired her for giving the numbers that he didn't think would be beneficial for the United States. But I've got to move on.
But what I'm saying is all of us are being a little bit manipulated right now, and they're trying to manipulate the Fed to get them to change what they're doing, and it's going to be better in the long run. I do still, Guna, I still have confidence in the administration that we have right now that is trying to do good things for the people. I'm still confident. I'm very confident in that. When I'm not, I'll let you know. I'm optimistic. Like you asked me a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, you said, are you optimistic? Yes, I'm still optimistic. I think things are going well. And I think the people who are going to produce, people, like you said, start a business, people who want to start business, people want to do things. I think people are going to do really well right now. But of course, the horrible thing coming in the end, and somehow we're going to try to survive through it, is the AI that's coming through, and all the jobs are going to be lost there. We're still living a really good life now. We're living a good life, but these jobs haven't taken our place yet, but they're coming. And I don't know how we beat that monster.
To your point, I think, what's the forcing factor here is, as Americans, we got to rethink about how we do our normal day-to-day lives. It is incentivized and encouraged now more than ever to start your own business, right? To have your own company and to build wealth through like the gig economy and service-oriented type of things. I mean, that's incentivized. Exactly. So, if you're going out and looking to get a job, work for 20 years at this factory or this company, that's not the economy for you. This is not going to work for you. You're going to have to learn about technology. You're going to have to learn AI. You're going to have to be your own boss. There's still a lot of money to be made in this country. Yeah. It's got to be different. It's got to be different. You got to figure out that way. And again,
it's going to be a lot.
This is something that Hillary Clinton had said one time, to the coal miners, and it didn't go over well because she said it very aloof, right? But at the end of the day, if you can go out, any American can go out and start your own business. Any American can go out and invest in the economy. And we can't sit back and say, we need the government to come in there and tell us how to do all these things. It's written in the code, the tax code, that if you want the government to stay out your pocket, there's ways that you can do it. There's loopholes in the tax code.
And plus, this administration is even more, this supports the way you feel. This administration supports you, so you support this administration, right?
In some areas, yes, in some areas, no. I'm kind of like, it depends on the topic. This is one of the areas I do think the administration had, when it comes to ownership, when it comes to starting your own business, when it comes to opportunity zones and investing in your community through private investment. Because
you're not stupid.
There's a lot of opportunity within that big, beautiful bill. If you look at it, if you read it, some of it, as like, it's taking money away, but it's also incentivizing for corporations and private companies to invest in our community if we know how to. And that's where the educational part.
That's why you're smart. That's why you're smarter. Stupid people don't understand that, man.
I want to move on. Because
he's going to have to be. He's going to want to hang in this conversation.
You can't control these people.
You're better off. Let's talk about.
We're actually having a good conversation, Todd. We're finding a middle ground. You
Todd don't want to talk about it, man.
Move on.
All right, we're out of time.
Yeah, let's move on.
I don't want to move on because that's going to take us over. But wait, I'm going to move on. This is our round table. Watch this, and we're going to start with Cousin Todd.
Congress, and this is the largest press conference that I've seen since I've been here. And this is because this is an issue that matters so much to Americans. This is an issue that doesn't have political boundaries. It's an issue that Republicans and Democrats should never fight about. As a matter of fact, it's such an important issue that it should bring us all together. It's grieved me to watch the arguments and debates take place among my colleagues and even the administration. I think this is something that was worth fighting for. You see, the women behind me are going to tell you stories that you've never heard before. These are unimaginable horrors that they've lived with for their entire lives since they were very, very young. But these are also similar stories that many children, teenagers, women, and even men are enduring nightmares right now as we speak. You see, these women have been fighting since the 1990s. I heard one woman tell us yesterday since 1996, and they have carried with them shame. But I want to tell you something. The shame does not fall on these brave, courageous women. The shame falls on every single person that coldly turned a blind eye to their abuse. The shame falls on every single person that enabled it. The shame falls on every single person that took money to continue it. And the shame falls on the people in power over the past several decades that protected the monster, Jeffrey Epstein, and his cabal that continued a nightmare.
Okay. She's definitely going against President Trump.
Yeah.
Let's start with Keith, then Stephen, then Aguna, then Cousin Todd.
Well,
Oh,
of course,
gosh.
that's why you're playing this.
Well,
That's why you want to
you-
talk about it, because she's going against Trump. And, she's
Oh,
known
wait,
as
wait.
a.
And my life is playing something that goes against Trump? No.
Yeah.
This is
How
like,
Yeah, that's why you're
how
playing
is
it.
it
But that's
going
okay.
against Trump?
It's okay. It's
wait. Let me finish. A press conference that I had nothing to do with. I didn't plan it. I'm not Marjorie Taylor Greene. I didn't stand up there. I didn't put those words in her mouth. I had nothing to do with it. She did this. All I'm saying is she's doing this. What's your comment about it? Go ahead, Keith.
That
but you
is my
said you were
that's
coming
part
to
of my
me
comment.
first, whether you
I
know it or
said
not.
it,
But
and I'll say it
okay,
again. This is why it's news to some people. Okay, I won't mention your name, but this is why some people want to talk about it, because she's going against Trump, and she's considered conservative, and that's to show that there is dissension within the Trump camp. But here is what I have to say about it: is that the real issue is what is happening in DC and gonna happen in
to these
Chicago,
women who
gonna
were
happen
raped.
in Los Angeles. Let me finish my roundtable. In Los Angeles, these are the issues that the people are concerned about. People want to be safe on a subway and not get their neck stabbed by a knife because a man is crazy and he has had all kinds of priors. This is what the people care about. I don't care about this other thing that she's talking about.
Racism.
The
Okay,
Army
so
can't stop you
I
from
just
that.
wanted to say that
The
if you
Army
talk
can't
to the
stop that.
average man on the street, even a lot of gangs, a lot of people, they're happy that Trump has cleaned up DC. And he's going to clean up New York, and he's going to clean up Chicago. These other mayors, we don't
What are you
talk
talking
about
about
them.
cleaned up?
We don't talk
Nothing's
about the
changed.
mayor. We don't talk about the California governor, the mayor of Los Angeles, the mayor of Chicago, of Illinois governor. We don't talk about them because they're not, well, part of the agenda. But anyway, that is my comment.
Well,
So thank you very much.
You can't
Thank
God
pivot
bless
from
you,
a whole
Stacey.
different topic.
I love
You're
you,
talking about
Stacey.
this topic.
Stephen.
I love you, Stacey.
I love
No, I had to get it
Marjorie
in.
Taylor Greene's passion. I love the fact that maybe she's gone through this something like this before. She's very passionate about it, and I would like for something to be resolved from this. But what you and I don't think she's going against Donald Trump. I think she just wants to see who was the ones guilty. Maybe they have it on film. I don't know. But it's for some reason, for all these years, we don't know anything. And there's a reason we don't know anything. And we're still not going to know anything. So no matter how much she wants to know something that's happening, we're probably never going to know. We still don't know the exact truth about JFK getting killed. And that was, what, 60 years ago. We're not going to know things like this, because the people on the very top don't want us to know. But I really don't think that it goes against Donald Trump in any kind of way. But another thing is, a lot of these girls here, they weren't 5 years old. They weren't 6 years old, 7 years old, like we have trafficking going on now through our country because of the last administration. We have sexual trafficking going with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. We have little tiny kids being raped that we facilitated through this country that we live in. We have little kids. But these girls that went to the island, they were 16, 17 years old, and they wanted the prestige of being there. This is what I've learned about a lot of them. I'm just objective. I'm not on anybody's side. I'm saying these are girls that are 16, 17 years old, and a lot of states in this country, that's allowed. And they thought that they would be movie stars. They thought they could be singers or whatever. But a lot of these women there. So what I'm saying is, we're making, like he said, we're making way too much out of Epstein as like a distraction. There's other things really going on in this world that we need to know. There's real sex trafficking going on right now. That was some weird crap with Epstein and the most powerful people in the world. You can't break through that ceiling. We can't break through that. We're down here. You look, Todd. We're down here. We can't break that ceiling. Thank you, Stacey.
Okay,
Thank you.
Aguna, let me share these comments from You Gotta Love YouTube. Said, y'all peeping the grift shift. Lots of laughs. Thanks, Aguna. Nothing has changed in D.C. Was nothing more than a stunt to appease the MAGA nuts.
Bull crap.
Wow, Stephen, those girls were young. Okay, Aguna.
No, they won't.
Yeah, I mean, the problem here is, the administration is trying to hide behind this. I don't know. I didn't. Everybody knows the Epstein. It was the 80s or 90s, so there were a lot of people who were his friends and his Rolodex. And so I think now the administration, Trump, is trying to distance himself when in fact he just needs to be look. Trump was in a Bobby Brown video. That doesn't mean he was a crackhead. At the same time, he knows that there are a lot of people that are going to be implicated in this Epstein thing. He just doesn't want to be affiliated, right? And so to say it's not my signature, it was forged, all that stuff, it just means you have something to hide. No one's saying right now that Trump is a pedophile, right? Because you sent that guy a birthday gift. This is the same president that was on a hot mic saying grab him by the pee, right? So we know. And he also said locker room banner. And guess what? The people elected him anyway. So it's like, I think as long as if he's hiding from it, meaning that he's trying to say, oh, I don't know anything about it. I don't even know. This guy was a weird guy. But we know you were affiliated with a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are going to be implicated in these Epstein whole agenda thing. But what's not a good look is when you meet with her lawyer, all of a sudden you're changing facilities of the same woman that was convicted of child trafficking. You're giving her, it's like some type of quid pro quo going on behind the scenes. All of that stuff is what's not cool about it. And so I think that from that standpoint, there needs to be something done. We don't need to be negotiating in no quid pro quo with anybody. And this is from the estate. So it's not like, somebody had been hiding this during previous administrations and it's just coming out now. So instead, and I think you're starting to see the messaging out of the Trump administration to say, hey, this is not a big deal. We need to focus on other things, similar to what Keith is doing and people are doing. They're saying, okay, there's no there. Because at the end of the day,
how does that affect your
the
family?
Democrats should be focusing on the economy and things like that if they want to really go after Trump, or they need to provide some solutions around that. Now, this whole city thing and cleaning up cities by sending in National Guard troops, the only thing the National Guard has done in D.C. is they helped pick up trash, they mowed some lawns, they sat around, they went into Shake Shack, they're eating at Shake Shack, because of Doge. Nobody was eating at Shake Shack anymore because he had laid off everybody. So there's no real change in anything other than you're sending
crime is
and
way
in fact,
down. Crime is way
the
down.
morale of the DC of the Guard and DC, they're away from their families. You got these people from Georgia that have been away from their families and missing their kids going to school so they can pick up trash on the Washington Mall. You know,
That's why they joined.
If you really want to change crime and you want to address crime, you got to look at the judicial system. You got to work with these governors. And in fact, I mean, if you look at crime in Louisiana, the murder rate in Memphis and all these red states and stuff, I mean, you know.
But it's the cities, Aguna. The cities are run by Democrats.
Yeah, but they're in red states.
It's the blue Democrats that are running the cities.
Okay, thank you.
They're in red states. Of course, they're cities. There are more people. There's going to be more crime. You got to be bigger than that. You got to think outside the box.
No, you're not.
Thank you.
You're using excuses. Those are excuses.
There's not an excuse. The cities are screwed up.
Of course, they're blue. Of course, there are more people.
I had comments that said Aguna was right, that Stephen and Keith were pivoting. And now Todd is falling asleep. You guys have to stop talking. It's your turn, Todd.
Todd don't have anything to say because we already defeated all of his arguments.
Okay.
He's got nothing to say.
Okay. Now, I'll go back to the economy just for a second. Of course, the economy.
Oh, is he pivoting? How come I was?
No, I
think he's pivoting in his chair.
Oh gosh, I can't.
They learned a new word.
Edgewise. I'm talking about topics that I was not included in because you would not stop talking. So, when Doge fired everybody, that's why the job numbers were so low, because he fired everybody who worked for the government. That's number one. Number two, Marjorie Taylor Greene is not going against Trump. This is what people like Stephen and Keith have been saying for years, that there's pedophilia going on and we've got to stop it. Hillary Clinton, remember, on and on and on. Now all of a sudden they say, oh, we don't want to talk about that no more. But Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, Joe Rogan, Kash Patel, and others, they were just making videos about it last year. Now all of a sudden Trump says, oh, nothing to see there now. Huh? These women were raped, Stephen and Keith. They were raped. And for Stephen to have the audacity to say,
were you there? Were you there? Then you saw these people raped.
So that I can finish what I'm saying.
Well, don't address him. Stop addressing him and just stick with
How do you know they were raped?
Whatever I want, because he is the one that said these people, children are raped when 7 and 8 years old. These people were old. He's talking about 15 and 16-year-old high school children. And how 17 and you, Stacy, not tell him that he is beyond sick to say 17 dumb. Talking about, oh, they should be raped, but this is the same weirdo who said you can't rape your wife.
What's the difference?
He said you cannot rape your wife. And so now what this idiot is doing is trying to say, what's the difference between having sex with a 16 and having sex with a 26-year-old? Ain't no difference. He is beyond sick. He needs to be off this show. We are going to get foul
when you're 18
letters about how sick he is. Well, now maybe somebody should have raped his child
when you're 8.
He was 16, and then maybe he would feel differently about that. And look at this crackpot holding his face like that. He doesn't have any children, so therefore he can't even relate to a child being raped. While this idiot is saying, well, at least she wasn't 7. She can be raped at 16. So what? He is beyond sick.
All right. Thank you.
A lot of the women on the aisle.
It's horrible for any woman to be violated. This show does not agree with violation of women.
I don't either. But if a woman wants to have sex,
especially a young,
even if she's 17, if somebody wants to have sex at 17, they're going to have sex at 17.
That's called statutory rape, you idiot. It's
not
rape.
in a lot of states.
Oh God, this boy is beyond.
we're out of time. To our
That's
first responders in
statutory
our
rape. That's
community,
the
you make
law.
our lives livable. Thank you, thank you, thank you to our women and
No,
men
it's
in
not.
the US military and all that you do and sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose on the show. We are forever truly indebted. On behalf of Guess Who's Back, Aguna,
Pray for us, y'all. Pray for us.
the voice
Nobody from none of those women said Donald Trump did anything to them.
Stop, Stephen.
I've
You're
never
not
heard-
going to win this argument. You're not going to win this. Leave it alone.
talk about praying
Just
for
leave it
None of
alone.
those women said Donald Trump did
Leave
anything
it
to them.
alone.
Aguna, the voice of reason,
Anything
Stephen,
alone.
the independent thinker,
You're looking like a weirdo right now.
the constitutional conservative, and my cousin Todd. I'm Stacey Johnson.
I am embarrassed to be on this show.
In the 1970s, Brooke Shields made a movie when she was 12 years old, and she was.
I'm Stacey Johnson. Let's keep this conversation going.
Oh my God.
Brooke Shields was next.
Okay, you got to stop talking. Let's keep this conversation going on Twitch, X, Facebook, Stephanie Stallworth, the Flow Television Network. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sporlitiks. Please check us out on Instagram at Sporlitiks, and please follow us on TikTok at Sporlitiks.com. Our name on TikTok is Sporlitiks.com, all one word. We'll see you next week. Ooh, it's tough fighting y'all.
I really enjoyed it.
Yes, strong fingers, Stacey.
I rather enjoyed it. We did pretty good.
It was a great show. It was a great show.
I'm glad
We got a bunch of Karens on here, man.
I'm glad Aguna's back.
Anytime you are pretending that it's okay to rape 16-year-olds.
It's not okay to rape anybody, but if somebody wants to have sex with you, it's not rape. If you're in West Virginia and you're 16 years old, you can have sex with an adult. No, you just don't understand what the laws. You don't understand the laws of the country.
Good night.
You're very